Hey, what's up guys? This is Gojiberry, and today we're going to take a look at Warhammer Chaosbane. With the new update, we have some new green gear items and some new builds for y'all. Today we'll be going over 2 brand new builds for Elessa. So let's jump in. Alright guys, I've got 2 sets for you, and the first set is the Eternal Queen set, or the Queen's Chosen set. And this set gives an aurora that poisons enemies, and it upgrades your spinning blade skill. The second set I'm going to go over today is a summon set, and this set summons dryads and increases their damage, and it allows you to summon more dryads. So jumping into these 2 builds, I have all the set pieces for both of them. So in order to do these builds, you gotta have the helmet, the tunic, the gauntlets, the tassets, and the boots. So switching between both of these builds is pretty easy. You just switch out the set gear pieces. All the other pieces stay the same as far as the ammo, the rings, and both weapons. The main build for both of these, or stat bonus we're looking for both of these builds, is health regeneration with the executors, and I've gone over this build before, but I've added a little bit of a twist between the viability of using both of these builds in certain situations. But what you want to do is you want to start off with one of these sets and get the executor. And what the executor does is it converts a percentage of health regeneration to damage dealt. As far as your rings, you're going to want to have at least 1 cooldown reduction ring. So this ring here, Ring of the Guardian, whenever I critical hit, it has a chance to reduce any current cooldowns. The main bow that you want to use is the Master Archer bow. The reason for this is because when you critical hit, it has a chance to reduce any current cooldowns also, which is really nice. For your other ring, you can pick a damage buff. There are some other interesting buffs you can get with rings. I would recommend that the ring has critical hit chance and some type of damage stat. As far as your amulet, I have the Wild Hunt's Talisman amulet, and I'm wearing this one because it gives critical hit chance, but I'm pretty sure you can drop a way better green ammy than this one. I just have not dropped a really good green ammy yet. I'm stuck with the Amber Talisman, and it does not give any critical hits or cooldown, so still waiting. But as far as my spells go with the Queen set, I actually only slot 5 spells. I start with the Crippling Blade, then I use the Spinning Blades Heroic, which is the spell that the set gives you, and then I have the Queen's Wrath Mastered. This is on your God skill tree, and this gives you mad health regeneration, which boosts your damage. And then I have the Defiler's Reckoning Mastered, and what this does is it summons a group of dryads. So whether if you're with the poison build or the summons build, this is really useful to get you out of a corner or in a bad situation. Summon these guys out and take some of the enemies off of you. As for your RT, I'd like to think that this is really a personal skill for you. So whatever you want to use, whatever spell you like to use, you can put here in the RT. I use the Elven Shot because it's got a wide range, and if I hit 2 enemies at once and critical hit with 1 shot, it'll epically reduce my cooldowns. So that's why I use Elven Shot. As far as my passives for this build, I start off with the Queen set using the Guardian Spirit, which increases health regeneration, which increases my overall build damage. The second spell I use is the Lone Hunter, and the Lone Hunter also increases my health regeneration, but it also increases my critical hit chance if no enemies are nearby. And this works with both builds. With Elessa, you're generally kiting enemies, so this is usually active. The third passive that I use is Follow Tracks, and this increases my damage after moving. So all I have to do is move around, which I'm doing all the time, dodge rolling. So this is going to proc and give me 15% damage. The last passive that I have statted is going to be the Blessing of the Forest, and this is a based health regeneration from my God skill tree, and I use this just to up my damage. The other two passives that I use is the Master Blacksmith for the 10% damage increase, and then I also use a Lucky Charm that increases my luck for critical hits. So overall, it's a health regeneration converted to damage critical hit build, and so I get cooldowns and spam this spell right here. So I'm gonna go over how much I get maxed out whenever all of my regeneration abilities proc. So with all of my regeneration abilities, my attack jumps up to about 1.2 million and my defense is around 760,000. If you look at my Spinning Blades move, it bumps up to almost 1 million damage, which is nice. And once again, the reason that I do not spec another spell is so I can take full advantage of all of these passives here and basically max them out. So the next thing I want to show you is how I switch over to my next build, the Summons build. And what I do is I switch the gear out first. And if you notice while I'm switching the gear out, the base damage actually goes up just a little bit. And I gotta say, this Deadly Glow set is pretty epic. I love the blue accents. It just looks dope overall. As far as me switching out my spells, I switch out my X spell. So instead of using Spinning Blades, I'm just going to use the Call of the Spirit spell that this set upgrades. And I'm done with the spells. Then I'm going to move over to my passives, and I'm actually going to switch out Master Tracks or Follow Tracks. And I'm going to switch this out for Hallowed Spirits. And what Hallowed Spirits does is it increases my summons damage after every time they hit. So every time one of my dryads or my summons hits an enemy, the damage is increased cumulatively. And I gotta say, this build is so good for bosses. Single target enemies, this build absolutely wrecks. As for the Queen's build, it's better for multiple enemies, multiple targets. It's got a little bit more viability, but this build does mitigate a lot of enemies, and I'm coming to find that I really like the summon build. Lastly, I'm going to go over the passives in the God skill tree. So for the God skill tree, I actually split it up pretty even between the left side and the right side. So for the right side, what we're going to do is take a pretty straight path all the way over here until we get to our Queen's Wrath Mastered, and then we're going to push it further to get the health regeneration passives. And basically it's a beeline. It's straight to this passive spell, the fastest way you can get there. On the left side, I'm going to go all the way over to upgrade this passive, the Defiler's Reckoning. And this is the one that it summons 4 dryads at once, and it's really nice. And then I'm going to actually continue this all the way up to this node up here, which gives me 25% critical damage. And you also level up another God skill passive for summoning. So hitting an enemy grants a higher chance to make a small dryad appear. So if you wanted to, you could switch this out for maybe one of the 10% damage buffs in your summon build in order to have even more summons. But this is my build, guys, and I enjoy it a lot. I have to say, if you're doing multiple enemies, like certain invasions or relics, I would definitely go with the Queen set personally. But if I was soloing a boss, maybe Keeper of Secrets, I would definitely go with the summon build. It's way quicker. If you try to beat him with the Queen set, it takes almost 5 times longer than the Starlight set. But I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope this helps you out with your builds, and you can switch between both of them depending on what you're planning on fighting with your friends. And I appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, throw them down in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe, and let me know what you're thinking, guys. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.